Univariate graphing with SPSS, Part 1. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and graphs are pictures of functions and relations. In this section, we will learn how to create some of the most common graphs in statistics using the SPSS application. We will begin with dot plots. A dot plot, also known as a strip plot or a dot chart, is a simple form of data visualization that consists of data points plotted as dots on a graph with an X or a Y axis. These types of charts are used to graphically depict certain trends or groupings in data. Dot plots are generally used to graph discrete quantitative data. A dot plot is similar to a histogram in that it displays a number of data points that fall into a certain category of value on the axis. Well, here we are in SPSS, and this is a data set I just copied and pasted, 7 variables. This is a 20 patient data set. We have 20 patients. Each patient is recorded across these 7 variables. The first is the patient index number. The second is the patient's blood type. Third is the patient's gender. The fourth is the patient's age. The fifth is the patient's BMI, body mass index. Sixth is the height, and seventh is the weight. So as you know, when you copy and paste, you're going to get a bunch of default variable numbers like VAR 00007 and all that. So we head on over to variable view, where we're going to correct this and enter and define the properties of these variables. So here we are in variable view. This is the first, the 7 variables, each one of them will be a row. So the first variable, VAR 00001, we're going to change that to patient number. Width, we're going to leave the width at 8. Decimals, well, it's numbers, but it's not numeric because it's used for identification. So it's basically nominal, so it really has no decimal places. We're going to change this numeric down here to string. It's a string variable. Click OK. Label. Here we're going to give no missing values. I didn't see any in the data view. Columns, we leave it at 8. Nominal input, everything is fine there. Second variable is the blood type, so we're going to put BLOOD. It's a string. We're going to leave this at 8. I'm leaving these the width of these columns at 8, especially in the data view, but we don't want a column to be 1 character wide and the others to be 8. It looks, the contrast, it's not going to look even. So we're going to leave all of them at 8. Decimals, no decimals there. The labels, blood type. Values, none. Missing, none. Columns, again, 8. Nominal input. Okay, the third variable is the gender. It's a string variable, 8. No decimals. Here, just gender. Values, this is where we have to indicate values, because gender, it's a single variable, but we have 2 levels of that variable. We have male and female. We have two groups within the gender variable, so we have to indicate that. And this is where you do that in the values property. You click in the dots. Okay, so values, you add, it'll be adding a row, which means it's something that we're going to be changing. So wherever we see capital M or uppercase M, we're going to put male. And wherever we see an F, we're going to use the female. We're going to interpret that as female. So everything looks fine. We click OK. So now the gender got values. You have two different values under that gender variable. Missing none. Here we're going to use H here as well. You have nominal. These four variables, 4, 5, 6, and 7, they're all quantitative or numerical. This one was age. This one here was BMI. This height. And this one was weight. We're going to use one decimal place because in the data view, you have a bunch of zeros, and it's really only one number you have after the point here that's really significant. The zero means not much. So we're going to use one decimal place for these four variables. Here, age will simply be age. Values, well, no other values. Nothing is missing, all age. These here are going to be, we change these to say scale because these are all numeric. And at this, we should be okay. Let us go on over to the data view and make sure everything is okay. These are just index numbers, and these are quantitative with one decimal place. Yeah, we okay. So at this point, we're going to now see how to create a dot plot, a simple dot plot using the age variable. We could just as well use any one of these. So the first thing you do if you want to create a dot plot is to go up to Graphs, Chart Builder, click on that, and this dialog will come up. You click OK. Now you go down to the gallery down here and you choose Scatter / dot. After choosing that, you need to take one of these and move it up to the upper box. So this here is the dot plot that we're going to be using. So we're going to drag that up there. What variable are we going to use to get our dot plot? It's going to be the age. So you click on age and you drag it down to the x-axis. And there we go. That is it. And now we just click OK. Everything seems to be fine. We click OK. And here is our dot plot in our output page, and it tells us the variable we're using, which is age. And here is the range of ages, and this is, of course, you have two people at 30 and so on. Now this is our dot plot. Basically, it's a simple one. There's no colors and all kinds of fancy stuff, but this is all you really need. Okay, now let's look at how to create a stem and leaf plot. So we are going to use the same age variable to get our stem and leaf. How do you get the stem and leaf? Now we go to Analyze in the main menu. Now Analyze, we go to Descriptive Statistics and go across to the submenu and go down to Explore. Now when the Explorer box comes up, click on Age, and then click on your upper arrow, which means you're sending age over to the right at the top, the dependent list. That's all you got to do. Then we click on plots. The stem and leaf is kind of checked out by default. We're not doing this stuff at this point. So continue. We want to check plots. So put a check in that radio button on plot and you click OK. And here we go. This is our output. Right here, this is our stem and leaf. This is the statistics, kind of the 20 data points, 100%. And right here, you have the frequency of the data values. So this would be 28, and you have one patient with age 28. Here you have a 32, a 36, two 37s, and a 39. So you got you got 5 people in this group in the 30s, and so on. So this is our stem and leaf plot, and this is kind of what it looks like here. It also gives you an idea of the shape of that graph, a glimpse of the shape. And that's about it. Simple stem and leaf plot, nothing fancy. Next, we'll be going on to see how to do a pie chart or pie graph, another simple univariate graphing tool. Now, as our section 3, or final section in this video, we see how to do pie charts. So let us head on over to SPSS and see how it's done. Here is a data set that we've been looking at all along, except now we got an 8th variable. It says status. It's a string variable, 80. There's nothing, no label. It's nominal. Well, this variable is the patient's condition or status after 3 weeks of treatment in the hospital. So if you go over to data view, here's the variable. We have I's, we have NC's, and we have W. Now the I means that the patient has shown improvement. NC means no change in their condition. And W means they're worse than they were 3 weeks ago. As we know, we have to go change stuff, so we need to put a label here, a more descriptive view. So we're going to put status value. This is the important one. We need to indicate that we have 3 levels. First level is an I, and that means there's improvement. An NC means no change, and a W means worse. So there we have our 3 levels. It's nominal, good. So we go over to data view, and here's our variable. Now we're going to make a pie chart from this variable number 8, or status variable. Now to make a pie chart, it's a simple pie chart we're making. We go over to graphs, chart builder, click OK, and this is going to come up. So now you choose pie/polar, and there's only one example here, so you take that and you drag it up to the upper window. And of course, we're going to be using our status after 3 weeks. That goes in there. Basically, to start at least, that's all we need to do, and we click OK. This is our pie chart, except now it doesn't give a lot of information as to a count for each category or a percentage or something. So we have to go in and tweak it to make it show these things. So you double click on your pie, When you double click on the pie, you will see this little chart editor come up. What you're interested in is this here, which is a labeled data labeled mode, and this one here, which is a show data label. So let us now click data labeled mode. This is kind of what you see, but we don't want just that. Right. You want the show data labels. That's the one you want to use. So data value labels will come up there, and when you click, if it's percentage up there, you're going to see the percentage values for each level show up inside of your graph. If you move percentage and you put a count instead, then you see a count inside in the graph. Okay, so now that this is there, so we have our percentage. Now let us do one more thing. Now um, suppose you don't want your labels inside of the graph. Suppose you want them on the outside. What you have to do is click on Custom, and here this shows you where outside of the pie your label is going to be. This shows you the label inside the segment. So you click on this one and click on Apply, and you find the labels or the percentages of count will be on the outside. Again, if you want them on the inside, you click here, Apply, and they're on the inside. If you want percentage, if you want count instead of percentage, you move that in, and you make count the active one. Click Apply, and you're going to see, because you got both count and percentage up here on displayed, you're going to see the count of 4, percentage 20, and so on. If you just want to count, then you take the percentage, move it down here, and you only get a count. And you apply, you only get a count. And that's how you get your pie chart and tweak it to show your labels and your values.